What's going on, gang? In this podcast episode, we have a legend, Tim Stoddart, in the building. Quick context: founder of Sober Nation, Quantum Leads, owner of Blue and Hazel Holdings, which owns equity in 10 very profitable businesses. Tim's built multiple seven-figure businesses over the past 15 years, really been grinding at this game of monetizing. I think your story is very refreshing because it's very real without the fluff, without the BS that's on social media. So Tim, first and foremost, again, thank you for jumping on the pod. How's it going?
Okay, bro, my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. It's always good to talk to people about life and business. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Tim. So, kind of to walk through your origin story, I gave a very high level overview, but what made you get into the space of like starting your own business, monetizing online? Like, what was that initial point that made you want to jump into Sober Nation?
Yeah. Well, there's actually two different questions there, and I'll give you the short version. My mom was a ER nurse. Basically, she worked at a hospital in North Philly. It was called MCP, and my dad was like a luggage handler at the airport. And we've been a hardworking family my whole life, and a bunch of immigrants. We're from Scotland, so like we're just hardworking blue collar people, right? And my dad got laid off after 9/11, and he'd worked at the airport for like 20 something years.
Yeah.
And so after 9/11, like obviously there was a lot of changes happening in airports, and just like that, like we were always a say like lower income, right? I never
Yeah.
went without or anything, but money was always a stressful topic in my household. But yeah, I mean, we were like really grateful and a lot of love in the house, and it was really what I can remember, like a great way to grow up. But then when that happened, like everything really changed. And I remember my dad calling me, and I could hear that he was really trying to put up the father, like everything's gonna be okay. But I could hear that there was like fear in his voice. And I just remember right then and there, like that's never ever happened to me because my pop was up at
Yeah.
4 in the morning every day. If you ever been to Philadelphia, like we grew up on the northwest side of Philly and the airport is in South Philly. So he drove across the city every single day to get there by 6, like, and just like that, poof,
Yeah.
it was gone. And so that was really when I was like, not me, never happening to me. In terms of internet companies, like my first company was a lawn care business, and I had like a contracting business. Like I said, I spent most of my childhood
Yeah.
like building houses and cutting grass.
Right.
And I got sober, which a lot of people are always interested in with my story, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I had well, it was a sponsor really, but let's just call him a mentor. He gave me this magazine, this subscription of Success Magazine, and it had this CD in it. It was like a DVD of interviews, which cracks me up to say now. There was this guy named Seth Godin, and yeah, Seth Godin like really changed my life. I've never met him in person, but I've talked to him a couple times, and he was a huge influence to me. And I don't remember what the interview was about, but at the end of the interview, there's the old like, what piece of advice would you give somebody, right? Like that age old question. And he said, start a blog, don't tell anybody about it, and write in it every day. And so
Yeah.
that's what I did. And eventually that's how Sober Nation started. And one thing led to another, and I've been doing it ever since.
And for context to Sober Nation, do you still run that? Because I saw on your page you have like the quantum business, the quantum leads business, and you also have machine method. Is that something that you still run?
Definitely still run Sober Nation. I run all of those directories. And it's funny that the timing is now because there's been like a lot of changes in my life and my business the last week, really. It's been like kind of a shit show to be honest,
Yeah.
but it's all really positive stuff. Yeah, Sober Nation is definitely up and at 'em. It's a directory. I have a lot of directories in the recovery space, but I also am building other ones in some other healthcare spaces. And when I tell people all the brands, it's mostly a positioning thing. Like I promise, it's not as complicated as it sounds.
Right.
Quantum Leads is basically an agency. It's a lead gen agency. We work with healthcare clients and generate leads for them. And one of the ways that I generate leads for them is through my directory. So there's like portfolio of directories which act as a I don't know, like a tool in the toolbox, right? Because most clients hire me to build their own digital presence, but if we need to, we can tap into our own leads, right? So Quantum is just the agency, and then the whole network of directories is sort of attached to it. And then Machine Method is a whole other thing, but that's actually got shut down recently and was combined into Copyblogger, which is, like I said, a bit of a shit show, but
Yeah, I
I'm
read that
working
on the
through it, man.
Substack a couple 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like,
yeah.
Tim, in kind of your take, what is like your bread and butter? Because from my perspective, it seems like you're really good at just generating leads, whether it's for your clients or for your own businesses. Kind of walk me through how you just were able to develop that skill set, whether it was SEO or like paid ads. Like, what's your bread and butter in that? And how did you even like, I don't know, like improve in that significantly over time?
So it's a great question. I'd say if I had to say what I'm best at, like ultimately I'm a writer. That's
Mhm.
how this all started for me. And even today, with all the AI and all the hacks and the shortcuts, the piece of advice I give to everybody is still the piece of advice that I got. Like, write every day, because if you can write, you can think
Mhm.
and you can position yourself as an expert in a particular field if you become a really good writer. And so, yeah, like there was writing, which is old school blogging. Like we don't really consider it blogging anymore just because
Mhm.
there's so much content on the internet. It's hard to grow a blog organically through Google these days. It's more like newsletters, right? Like Beehive and Substack. That's what blogging was 15 years ago, was kind of what having a newsletter is today. A little different, but the idea is that you're just creating content without keywords or search concepts in mind. You're just putting stuff out there for people to read, which is the best way to do it. It started with that. And then, yeah, I discovered Copyblogger. And when I was starting Sober Nation, I would read Copyblogger every day, and I don't even know how to explain this. I would quite literally just copy exactly what they were doing. So if there was a blog post on Copyblogger, there was like 3 ways to write better headlines or something like that. I would just do 3 ways to, I don't know, something like improve detox symptoms on Sober Nation. And then I would follow like the same format. I would put the bullet points in the same
Right.
place. Like I would do exactly what it was. I would just write for recovery and sobriety as opposed to what Copyblogger is and was, which is content marketing. So I got pretty good at SEO, and then I was like, you know what, I can learn ads, and I've been running Google ads, um, mostly Google, some Meta, but I'm definitely best at Google ads because Google ads perform better for location-based search,
Mhm.
and most healthcare companies are like brick and mortar, like you have to actually walk in the door, right? And so
Mhm.
it's just translated a lot better. So man, where did I start? Like I started by being a writer, and it
Mhm.
was one thing after another, one thing after another. But I will also say that I have really smart people around me. Like if there's one thing, I've made so many mistakes, man. I made some epic mistakes the last 6 months, which I'm paying for. But one of the things that I really did right is I just knew if I can surround myself with people that are smarter than me and people that are better at me at certain things, then like I'll be okay, right? So I know my way around basically everything, but the funny thing is I'm like the least talented in my whole company in terms of my team and the people that work for me and work with me and all of that. So yeah, it's been skill growth by proxy of others, really,
Yeah.
is the best way I can explain it.
And how do you get in proximity of those best people to work with? Like, what was your kind of method for your life thus far? Like, how have you found those people?
My method is just never stop. Like,
Mhm.
I'll give a great example. There's this guy named Scott Galloway who's gotten pretty famous recently,
Mhm.
but I used to follow him a lot like 15 years ago. He had this YouTube channel called Winners and Losers. And I remember he talked about this thing where he was at a conference or something and people were talking about like how to be a leader, like put people in a position to succeed. And there were people that said like, oh, we have to empower people and you got to do this. And Scott's answer was, yeah, I'm all the fuck over everybody all the time about everything. And that's sort of been my strategy. Like anybody I can talk to, like, what do you do? What do you do? Are you good? What do you do? Can you help me? Like, can I learn this from you? Like, well, I wonder if we could do this together. It's just like a nonstop process. I have not found a good streamlined hiring process or like talent acquisition process. It's just been relentlessly meeting as many people as I can, learning their skill set. And I mean, honestly, getting rid of people, and when I say getting rid of, like I'm not pushing them to the side, but if it's not a fit for what I'm trying to build, I don't waste anybody's time. You know, it's almost like trimming the hedges a little bit. Like no matter what you do, how perfect you get it, it's gonna keep growing and keep growing. So it's like a constant maintenance and optimization of the team. So I don't know if anybody's looking for like a great book or strategy on how to do that. I am not the guy. I don't know how. It was
Right.
really just ruthlessly talking to as many people as possible and like selfishly figuring out how I can acquire skills from them or use their own skills for improving my own team.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like, from my sense, right, even with this whole podcast thing, I don't really have like a set script when people ask me for the podcast, how do I get great guests? It's really just like the sheer volume and consistency of reaching out day in and day out over the years has really just shown like over the test of time, it does work if you really just keep going at it. And also to that point of how you started with writing. I have like a similar story in a sense where I started with Substack and honestly, I had no idea what I wanted to talk about specifically. All I knew was like, I just want to send something to someone that could provide them value whether it was like mindset, fitness, anything I'm learning about finances. And then little by little, I started to kind of like consolidate and figure out my niche and like vertical. So that's been something that I've dealt with. And to that point, you had this post on X, I think it was a couple days ago, where you said reps equals mastery. If you tried everything, you haven't put enough reps to accomplish anything. And I think for a lot of people trying to monetize online, sometimes they get stuck in this game where they're lost in the sauce. Every 1 or 2 years are constantly pivoting. For you, Tim, how do you know if what you are doing, like your business, is either like a leads issue where you're not doing the best of your job to figure out how can I generate quality leads, or if I'm completely in a wrong vertical that won't actually monetize into anything?
I want to first talk on the reps thing.
Hmm.
I've always been very inspired by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've never been a bodybuilder, but he's really inspired me since I was a boy, honestly. And in his book, his first book, Total Recall, I think it's called, he has a whole chapter that's just called Reps and Sets. And it really, really spoke to me. Like, it really spoke to me. He's like, okay, you want to get bigger, do more reps. Like, you want to get better, do more reps. And people look for easy ways, and that's just never really, I don't know, like when in doubt, you just do more, basically. And I'm totally with you. In terms of the more specific question about the verticals, I mean, when you know. Here's actually what I'll say about that, and I'll go off script a bit. It's a common question that I get with people because so much of my success came from mastering one really, really specific skill and then like expanding on that. And one of the things that happened for me, which I can't claim a lot of credit to, is timing. Like 15 years ago, and this is a bigger conversation, but the drug addiction epidemic with young people in the country was like really, really just getting to the point where everybody was like, whoa, like these kids are dying of heroin overdoses all the time. And like I was one of those kids, right? And I just got sober at a time when there wasn't like a booming drug rehabilitation industry at the time. It was, we call them old timers, basically, like people that got sober through like AA meetings and just wanted to do something to help people. And they have like these little tiny treatment facilities, usually in like a house or something. And, the timing was just there. I saw it and I saw like, wow, this is a big movement happening. My own recovery really changed my life. And I saw how hard these people work and how clueless they all were to build like internet brands around themselves. And I was just as clueless, but I was reading Copy Blogger every day and I was reading Seth Godin every day. And I saw what they were doing. I was like, this is a thing. And like, I don't know what's going to happen from it, but I'm definitely doing this. And so there's an aspect of what worked for me that you just can't get over, which is the timing. Now, with that being said, I am always, always looking for timing. And I'll give you some specific examples like testosterone clinics right now. The testosterone levels in men specifically, but also in women with not testosterone, in some cases a little bit, because yes, women do have testosterone, but hormones in general, crazy what we're seeing right now. There's guaranteed going to be a huge, huge boom in hormone clinics and subsequently in fertility clinics. Hair transplant, as like taboo as it is for men, going to be a huge thing. Stem cells going to be a huge thing. So I like the healthcare space. I think it's fascinating. I'm into it. I'm interested in it. But it's not to say that the only opportunities right now on like when to know when something is worth doing are in healthcare. There's cool stuff in AI that isn't, the typical 10 gazillion dollar tech company. Like I can think of a lot of really cool micro AI projects right now. There's a lot of stuff in well, anything really. Like psychedelics is another one. My wife is a breathwork instructor, and I can't tell you the amount of people that she talks to every single day. They're like, I just feel so disconnected and like out of touch with my body. Like, help me get back into this. So I'm spitballing a little bit here, but
Hmm.
the short answer is this: did a lot of things right. The timing was something that I couldn't have controlled. It was just right place, right time, and I took advantage of it. Also, look where the timing is. Look at the industries where the timing is. Like, you know what, this is going to be a thing, and you can look on Google search trends. Like, you can figure that stuff out. You don't have to just take educated guesses and go by the whim. You can really figure that stuff out. Without the timing, it's really, really difficult. No matter how smart you are, like that's just one of those things that there's no getting around it. You have to get the timing right. So I would really encourage people to think about that.
Yeah, and to that point with timing, I think that's super valid, right? Like a couple years ago when I was in college, I had a drop shipping store where I was basically selling bucket hats in Australia and New Zealand. And the way I was able to generate sales was through like Facebook and Instagram ads. Nowadays, with what I do, with basically I do like a one-on-one boot camp where I educate people on Roth IRAs, high yield savings accounts. All of my leads are primarily coming via TikTok Live. So it's like always trying to adapt on what is working now. And I feel like right now in 2025, a lot of the live dynamic with interacting with audiences has been great as well for Substack and building that warm audience because you could engage with them at the spot. Going to this video that I saw you posted, I think it was recently. You're comparing SEO, search engine optimization versus AI. Everyone is super bullish on artificial intelligence, one way street, and people are kind of downplaying the SEO standpoint of like, look, there's something here. Just to kind of paraphrase what you said in that video, what's your take on this comparison? Like, is SEO dying, or is this still something that people can legitimately look at and they're sleeping on?
SEO is not dying, and you don't have to believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Just go look at how much freaking money Google is making from search. It's never been bigger. Like that's the reality. The SEO has never been bigger. So there's some caveats because nothing is. There's a great Foo Fighters song. What is it? I can't remember, but there's a line in it. Everything fades in time. It's true. And the way that we used to do, like, you used to be able to create a blog and grow the blog through SEO. I remember there was like mattress blogs because all of these home male mattress companies were blowing up at the time and people were making so much money just doing written reviews on mattresses. That's not going to work anymore because it's pretty easy to create a Gemini AI search result on the top of search engines. So what is working with search? Local is working a lot. It's never been working stronger. And I gave some examples in that video. Even the AI engines, the LLMs, like they need to pull data from somewhere. What people don't understand about AI is that it's not sentient. I mean, it's scary, don't get me wrong, but AI needs data to learn from. And so in a way, the people that control AI are the people that control data. I'll give you another like kind of off-topic example, just because I'm in the space with healthcare. I think that healthcare AIs are going to be really interesting because there's so many. So 23andMe, for example, like ancestry DNA, you don't realize that every time you do that, the way those companies are really making money is they have the data. They have like all the genetic data. That's the kind of shit that makes AI really valuable. And so what Google has is a whole database of all of the maps and all the local businesses basically in the whole world. And it's going to be really, really difficult for an AI company to come in and do that. They can't replicate that. Even if they wanted to serve local results, the best way for them to do that is to tap into Google's index on on Google Business, on Google Business profiles. So like it's a cool, complicated little thing, and there's a lot of nuance, obviously, and even saying SEO is a little bit nuanced because SEO is a broad term. Like there's Google Shopping, there's Google Ads, there's local search, there's organic search. SEO can mean a million things. And so when people say that SEO is dead, it's kind of ridiculous because it's never been more not dead, right? But
Right.
it's not to say that it's not changing. And if you're not keeping up with it, I think that's problematic. If you're just starting a blog and saying, I want to build an email list and like Huffington Post, for example. I think that's a bad business model right now. And if that's your goal, you want to build like a media company, like a Men's Health, or I mean, BuzzFeed's a bad example because the stock has just plummeted so much. But you know what I mean? Like those kind of media companies, they used to be really Elite Daily, for example. My friend Gerard, he sold his company for 50 million bucks. It's not going to work anymore. You just have to adjust with the times.
Got you. And going to that point, right? We talked a little bit about the SEO versus AI. On your page, I was reading, you said something along the lines that the path to wealth is through ownership. The ultimate goal of all my work is to increase the value of my personal holding companies. And then you list out the companies you privately invest in. I myself, I invest in stocks and ETFs, index funds, like the starter pack way of investing. Private investing, though, like the private side is kind of like this question mark for me as to like, how does one get started in investing in these private companies? Was it through a connection? Was it through a website? Like, how did you get in that journey?
All right. Well, now we're talking, man. So I like investing in private companies. I'm always going to invest in private companies just because when you have winners, they can really, really win. If I were 20 again, which is when I really took the stock market seriously, I would go back in time, beat the shit out of myself and say, don't do it. Just put all your money into the S&P and don't be a big, stupid, dumb idiot.
Right.
Yeah, I really, really mean that without
Right.
question. Like I'm totally serious. Like look, my life is great and I'm blessed that I've made a lot of great investments, but sometimes there's things that you can't control. Like when I lived in Nashville, I put $100,000 into a treatment center that the CEO was just a gunslinger, went belly up on debt. And so much of the metrics was positive. You know, it was just went belly up. Earlier this year, I put $100,000 into a psychedelics retreat in Costa Rica. I the founder of it, he was one of the founders of Live Nation, right? It's this guy
Mhm.
named Nick. He owns this company. It's on the Canadian Stock Exchange. It's called Flow. It's like a cardboard, like those boxes of water that you get at the grocery store and Starbucks. So look it
Right.
up, called Flow Water, and then look at the stock. And I like, wow, like this guy was part of Live Nation. He really knows what he's doing. I can't wait to be a part of this. 100 G's just up in flames. I put 200 grand into a treatment center recently, which is going okay. It just has challenges, man. Like, I don't know. I give it about 50-50,
Yeah.
really. And so you think of all of it, $100,000, which even if I just put straight into the S&P, and I diversify a lot. Like I dollar cost index into the real estate REIT. I've been putting some money into Europe recently because I think America is like pretty overpriced. Thinking about doing the same in like Brazil and Argentina. You know, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of messing with it, but you know, like it hurts, man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about investing in private companies, and this is something that nobody ever talks about. The losses hurt so much more than the wins feel good.
Mhm.
They really, really do. Because when you see the wins, all you think about is like, okay, how can I put this money back to work? And like, there's not like a win. It's just like on to the next step. But when you take a loss, it's just straight up a loss. Like you just fall flat on your face.
Right.
And so I don't know, man. It's like no regrets. And I love what I do. And I still personally want to do it. I mean, I enjoy the process. It's fun. Like I'm gonna die one day, so I'm not
Right.
gonna bring any money with me when I die. And there's some things that have been overwhelmingly successful. And you know, buy the ticket, take the ride. I forget who said that. J.D. Salinger, maybe. Oh no, it was the guy that wrote what's that movie where they get super fucked up in Las Vegas? Fear
Hangover.
and Loathing. Yeah,
Fear
yeah,
Love.
no, the guy who wrote Fear and Loathing. Buy the ticket, take the ride. So I'm all for it.
Hmm.
But honestly, dude, if I can go back, I would just beat the shit out of 20-year-old Tim and just be like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Because here's the thing about investing, which is so important.
Hmm.
Rule number one with Warren Buffett is don't lose money. And the reason why you don't lose money it's because you don't want to lose the money, but it's also because that money that isn't lost is money earned in the future.
Hmm.
Every dollar that you lose is a dollar that's gone, but more importantly, it's a dollar that is not getting compounded upon. And yeah, man, maybe I'm just going through it right now because when you take big losses like that, you stay up at night, you stare at the ceiling like, fuck, I'm such an idiot. I shouldn't have done that, right? And like I said,
Right.
no regrets. This is the game that you play. But I don't remember the question you asked me, to be honest, bro.
Yeah.
I would go back in time and just be
No.
like, don't fucking do it. Like, don't do it. Just dollar cost average and get rich
Yeah.
and don't stress out about anything.
Yeah, and rule two from Warren Buffett, by the way, was don't forget rule number one. So pretty much it was just like
Totally.
don't fuck it up. But I
Yeah.
myself, I've studied finance. I understand like the index funds. I've seen the history, but still, it's like to that point. Like sometimes you just want to like dabble in things, but at the end of the day, I could pretty much predict with high probability that I would have just been better off S&P 500 and chill. And I think I read
Totally.
something on your Substack that you said if I could also go back in time, I think I would like simplify the business or something. I don't know if I'm mistaken that, like just focusing on like maybe one business and it would have simplified your life drastically. Again though, is it something that you truly regret or is it something that's fulfilling? Because I feel like, we only live once and we got to do things that, we're passionate about and sometimes we kind of our brain gets split in so many different things that we want to do and it's just like fun, even if it doesn't turn out to be the most profitable thing, you still make a lot of money, but do the things that you want. I don't know. That's how you feel.
Absolutely. No, I legitimately do not regret anything. And
Yeah.
even like 20-year-old Tim that got the shit kicked out of him by 40-year-old Tim would probably stand up and be like, whatever, man, I'm doing it anyway. I don't care what you tell me.
Yeah.
Look, I spent years building a t-shirt company. It was called New Life Clothing. And I sold the thing for $10,000 after 4 years.
Yeah.
Huge waste of time. Some of the most fun I ever had in my life. Like
Right.
really, some of the most fun I ever had in my freaking life. I remember we went to a pool party because none of my friends drink. And so if you want to get these tables at these pool parties in Vegas, you got to spend like $400 on vodka, on Grey Goose. And we're just
Right.
like, well, we don't drink, so we have all this vodka. And it just ended up being like a circle of people around us drinking our booze. someone walked up to the table wearing one of my t-shirts. I don't know, totally worth it. All those 4 years of wasted time was worth it in a weird way
Right.
for that one moment. Yeah, like no regrets. Maybe if my life was a little bit different and those losses like took me out, I might feel differently. Especially because like I don't know, the losses usually come from wins, so it's
Right.
really all good. But no, that's what I like to do. It's life. Here's the other thing about it. Do you got any kids?
I'm having twins in February, first time having kids.
Oh, going for it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. All right. You will learn, as I have learned, that by the time you learn how to be patient with the 3-year-old that's like screaming and kicking, she's 6. And it's like, damn, I really wish I had this patience that I could only have gotten from the 3-year-old screaming and kicking when she was 3 years old, screaming and kicking. So it's like this cruel joke about life that like you learn the lessons after you needed them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I've had that a lot with investing. Like this lesson that I just took, it would have been really great if I had this lesson when I needed it
Right.
before to make the decision. So I don't know, man. That's life. That's the
Yeah.
human condition, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like we're always living in the future, and to that point what you said about the clothing brand that you had, similar little thing in college. I had this e-commerce store that I was like so sold that I was gonna become rich off it, and I think after like 2 years I maybe made like 10, 12 grand off it. But it was just I don't know, it was even the sale, like it was my first sale that was $7. It was just the coolest thing for me. I was like, some random person bought my hat online, like this is so dope.
Totally.
So it's like, I think it's also embracing that it's like the craft, like just the fun of it. It's different. Like you could make a lot more money doing something that doesn't fulfill you, but it doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. So yeah. So Tim, just to kind of recap on what you're doing right now, I want to highlight what you are providing for people. Like please take your time and sharing details about this. I know you're combining machine method and copy blogger into one. So high level for the squad here that's going to listen and tap into this, what effectively is going to be that merger and so on.
I'll give you the short version and then I'll give you some more detail. It's solving one problem, learn how to get clients. And I'll give you a little bit more detail. When I bought Copyblogger, it was a huge moment in my life. And what Copyblogger does is it teaches people basically how to do content marketing. So, 15 years ago, this idea of creating content and using that content to build an audience and then selling things to your audience was actually kind of new. Back then, let's just say 15 years ago. 15 years ago was when like I first got sober and like Copyblogger was more 12 years ago. So let's call it 10 years ago, right? Back then, if you wanted to create content online, you were basically creating a newspaper and you would sell ads against the content. And so Copyblogger was really revolutionary in that it was one of the first companies to put forth this idea that we all sort of all understand now, where your content isn't used to put like banner ads on. Your content is free. And what your content does is it builds you as an authority, and then you use that authority, you use that email list to sell services or products or programs or whatever. And I bought Copyblogger. I was really into that and still am. Like I write every day. I found pretty quickly that even with that, even people that knew how to build an audience had a really, really hard time turning it into money.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied sales. I had pretty bad like speech impediment when I was a kid, and I'm super maybe I'm not too awkward. Maybe it's just like a self-limiting thing I have, but I had a hard time talking to people. Like
Yeah.
there's no question about that. And I just knew if I want to do this, I need to learn how to sell. So I
Mm-hmm.
read all the sales books and I like forced myself to like practice rebuttals in the mirror, no joke, because I was growing my agency. I was growing Stodzy and I was talking to these like healthcare executives that, I'm like some schmuck walking in South Florida, so it's hot as balls. And so I'd always wear like cut off t-shirts and I got tattoos everywhere and I wanted people to take me seriously, but I also didn't want to be just like another dork with like, I mean, Florida, they wear those like pants where the ankles are a little bit high and there's like ridiculous shoes.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to be that. So I knew like I have to know what I'm talking about and I have to know sales. And so from that, when Charles came on and started running copy blog, I was like, you know what? I want to teach people sales because I think for most people, they understand this game of content marketing, and some people might even be pretty good at it, but the people that are pretty good at it still have a hard time turning it into money. And that's how it's been. I was using my personal brand to grow Machine Method and really teaching like sales coaching and outbound sales and especially sales to your audience. And Charles was running Copyblogger because he's just more of a traditional writer. And Copyblogger Academy was the program that was more focused on content marketing. Well, I mean, you'll like this. Charles has gotten really into trading and shorting specifically. And every time I talk to him, I'm like, dude, like, I don't care what you say. Like, I'm scared for you, but I love you, buddy. You do you. And he's like, I want to do this. I feel like I found my passion. And so I had to buy out Charles, and now I'm merging the two. And it fits pretty perfectly because it's just going to be two programs, a lower level product and a higher level product. And the higher level product will be, yes, here's content marketing, blogging, LinkedIn, YouTube, podcasts, whatever. I have a ton of experience with all of these mediums. Like I know how to build audiences for sure, and I can teach that. But that's not going to make you money. You still need to learn how to turn it into money.
Yeah.
And so that's where all of these programs are going to come together. There's just the academy, Blogger Academy, which is going to be kind of the same as what original Coffee Blogger Academy was, with a little bit of lead generation sprinkled in. And then the higher level, which is the accelerator, which is going to be like me. Like I'll work with people specifically to say, this is how to do outbound lead gen. This is how to build cold email accounts. This is how to scrape data. This is how to do the intro, because that's where everybody gets so scared. Like, I don't want to get rejected because it sucks, man. Like, it
Mhm.
sucks getting rejected. I've been doing it for years and I still don't like it. It's not like it gets any more fun,
Right.
but it's how you do it. And I'm going to bring those things together, and we're launching it next week. It's going to be pretty sick, actually. I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited for you, dude. That sounds dope. For sure, I think sales for myself, being naturally like introverted, was one of the hardest things. And earlier on, I always kind of I always thought, oh, if my, if I just keep making more content, eventually one day I will make a sale. Until I realize I actually need to put time and
Exactly.
reach out to people like every single day and like send video messages and actually put myself
Exactly.
out there. So Tim, like, where can people find the machine method? It's on your Substack, right?
Yeah, but I guess to be specific, Machine Method is turning into Copy Blogger. So Machine
Okay.
Method is disappearing.
Okay, got you, got you. All right, yeah, I'll reach out to you after this and just put all the links on the bio. But Tim, man, again, thank you so much. This was genuinely a super dope podcast episode, man. Thank you so much, dude.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, Tim. Cheers, man.